Welcome to the Workamper Show, a podcast devoted to helping you discover how to finance your RV travel dreams. I'm Steve Anderson, the president of Workamper News. Each one of our episodes will either introduce you to people who are already living the RV lifestyle or to opportunities to work short-term jobs. You'll also learn how to hit the road the right way and make the most of every opportunity. Now let's turn over today's show to your host, Greg Gerber.
Thank you, Steve. This week I'll be speaking with an RVer who started an online marketing agency to help business owners, especially other mobile-based businesses, to navigate the often complicated world of digital marketing. Yet the real reason they bought an RV was to serve others. Today's episode is sponsored by The Dreamer's Journey. It's a new online course and community produced by Workamper News. Life is way too short to keep your dreams on hold, so don't be held back by fear because you were designed for more. Get started in the RV lifestyle the right way with this comprehensive guide. For just $29.95 for 1 year of access, Dreamers have unlimited viewing of 50 plus videos to learn things like what type of RV to buy, goal setting, how to budget for the adventure, developing a positive mindset, setting up a domicile, and operating a small business on the road, plus everything about work camping and how to find the right job for you. Each video is 30 to 90 minutes long to give in-depth coverage on each topic. There's no wrong time to get started, so for more information, visit www.rvdreamersjourney.com. Joe Meyers is the Chief Creative Officer for Share Marketing, which provides digital marketing and consulting services to small business owners. Originally from the Twin Cities area of Minnesota, Joe and his wife traveled the country in a 30-foot travel trailer with their two boys, ages 7 and 2, plus their playful rescue beagle named Mickey Mouse. RVing with young boys has been a great experience for the family because the boys get to wrestle with each other on a different patch of grass every week. Joe's wife still has a job planning events for corporate America, which she performs remotely, and he has set up his business specifically for location independence. Before launching full-time, they took a 7-week RV trip last summer to visit Yellowstone National Park, Montana, and Canada. They launched their full-time RV lifestyle 2 days after Christmas. In addition to working on the road and running an online business, the Meyers family enjoys taking part in a variety of service projects, especially those that involve working with youth organizations. Joe describes some of the things they do to serve others and how it's impacting communities. In fact, one of the family's motivating factors for buying an RV was that it allowed them to travel in support of various organizations and missions and to encourage others to do the same. The lifestyle is already having a positive impact on their children, who are no longer devoted to accumulating stuff and seem to be complaining less. The Meyers started RVing to show other members of their generation that they didn't have to be retired to enjoy a travel lifestyle. To tell us more about their motivation for RVing and what they do for a living, please welcome Joe Meyers with Share Marketing to the show. Thank you for joining me today, Joe. I really appreciate the time. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your family.
Thank you so much for having us. My name is Joe Meyers. I'm the Chief Creative Officer of a company called Share Marketing. We do digital marketing consulting. I have a wife who works for corporate America, 2 kids, 7 and 2, and a dog named Mickey Mouse.
A dog named Mickey Mouse. What kind of dog would deserve a name Mickey Mouse?
A very loving dog, for sure. He's a beagle rescue. We don't know his whole DNA heritage, but he's a lovely dog, and he's a better camping dog, on the road dog, than he is when we're at home.
Okay. Do you have a boy and a girl, or both of them?
2 boys.
Okay.
2 boys, which make the RV very small sometimes.
Yes.
They feel like they need to wrestle, but the nice part is our front yard changes every 2 weeks. So they get to wrestle in a new patch of grass.
Mm-hmm. How long have you been RVing?
We've owned our RV, a travel trailer, 30-foot travel trailer, for about a year. We bought it sort of when the whole world went remote. I was remote prior, owned my own business, and so I can work from Wi-Fi, as they say. And my wife in corporate America kind of got the A-OK to go on the road. So we looked at the market, found an RV that we loved, that had everything we needed. We took a 7-week trip over the summer, last summer. Went to Montana and Yellowstone and kind of the big checkbox in the RV world, it feels like. And then we've been on the road for this stint since December 27th. So depending on how long when you're listening to this, but as of this recording, we've been on the road for a little over 2 months.
Very good. And so did you like this idea of a trial trip? Is that something you did intentionally just to see if everybody would like it and whether you could continue working?
Very much so, yeah. So we did the knockdown trip. I think that's the word that everyone uses, of like right when you buy it, you make sure it all stays together and you can do that. And we did a couple local trips in Minnesota, just because no matter how you buy your RV, there are always going to be custom things you want. Oh, I need this, or this doesn't work, or this needs to go places. So we did those 2 trips. And then I'm a math geek. Um, and so I looked at the cost of the rig and the cost of staying places. And I was like, if we're not in this thing for a significant amount of time, in my world, it wasn't a good investment, because I would rather stay at, very fancy hotels or very nice Airbnbs instead. And so we were like, we need to do a long trip. So 7 weeks was kind of my minimum, just to ensure that it was over the summertime, which made schooling non-existent. So we didn't have to kind of climb that mountain when we were on the road. Work for both of us was sort of the lighter season. So if we didn't have Wi-Fi for a little bit, which is always a challenge, it wasn't the end of the world. It wasn't our busy season. And it was just, the summer, the weather you're not worrying about. So it was a nice way of testing out all things as well.
Now, you said your wife works for corporate America. What kind of job does she do?
My wife has been doing events, so in-store branded. Anytime you go to maybe a concert and there's a brand there representing themselves in the best light, sort of a branded experience. And so she helps arrange that, and works with her clients and works with other individuals to bring the brand in real life. So she's been working remotely because the job, you have to go travel to the locations or hire people to do that. So she's been working remotely. She just had an office for her entire career, because when you're doing events all over the country, you have to work from hotel rooms and airports and on site during the event if it's a large event. So it's been an easier transition than I think we both thought.
So basically, you're traveling to these events, and then you're fitting your work in whenever it's possible from wherever location you're in where she has to work.
Yeah, so we're not traveling to her events. Her events are happening with contractors,
Okay.
and she's sort of at an executive level where she doesn't have to attend all of the events. She used to prior, several years ago. She'd have to go to the events. So we're just traveling around where kind of our heart desires us, and a big part of our heart is actually doing service projects as a family.
Mm-hmm.
We've always loved to serve. When we had a sticks and bricks home, we'd either serve at our church or with a local charity or a local nonprofit. And when we went on the road, we didn't want to lose that element of who we are as a family. And it also brought us a lot of joy. And I think the biggest part of the RV lifestyle that I've come to realize is that everyone here is sort of pursuing joy in an untraditional and an unconventional way. Whether that's going hikes in the woods, or seeing different beaches, or meeting up with people in the RV community, they're pursuing joy. And so that was part of our joy, is to serve, is to give back. So we partnered with a couple of organizations, Go Squeeze, Love Everywhere, Right Now Media, and a few other organizations that have sponsored our tour, sponsored us service projects, and we create what we call impact kits, which are little handouts that we can use as a catalyst to have as to serve mostly youth around the country. So we've gone to boys and girls clubs, churches, kids events, underserved communities. Done, just shown up, given them this really, really big value gift, and then just speak with them and help clean up their area and encourage other volunteers to do the same. So it's been a joy. Like we kind of work to volunteer. So it's been a lot of fun.
That's neat. And so you're developing these kits with corporate partners. Is that what you said?
Yeah, so a couple corporate partners have come alongside us and said we believe in your vision of serving kids, especially during this time of year. What's happening now is a lot of the post-pandemic world is emerging, and there's been a lot of people that have been left behind. And so we're serving these kids. So our partners, Go Go Squeeze, Bitsies, Love Everywhere, Right Now Media, have said, hey, we can't we can't travel to these communities for multiple reasons, or it's cost prohibitive for them to travel to these communities. And then so they provide us with a whole bunch of free items, free memberships, free subscriptions. One of our really cool partners is this company called Happy Camper Live. So they're a summer camp that runs year round online. So think of those
Huh.
best summer camp days sitting around a campfire, meeting friends, but they run year round, fully online. So all the funness of a summer camp available. So they've given, I think, everyone 60 days of their Happy Camper Live. So these kids can really be connected, feel experience. So we show up. We're all about community and serving and whatever they need. Sometimes we'll, bring in coffee and donuts. Sometimes we'll clean up their facilities. Sometimes we'll just play games with the kids that maybe need a little extra care and attention. And our kids, 7-year-old and 2-year-old, one of their best memories from this trip so far have been surfing.
That's great. And what kinds of things are you doing for the kids? I mean, you said that you're just like playing games and things like that. Is it to foster some sort of interdependency upon each other or interrelational skills, that type of thing?
Certainly, yeah. So we have the impact kit. So that's the giveaway. That's kind of the welcome to who we are. And then we'll work with the local organization. So our job, our goal is to really just spark connection to the local community. So we'll work with a local church, and there'll be a group of kids, and we'll go visit them. We'll work with a local boys and girls club, and they'll say, "Hey, we need some extra volunteers for today. Can you come here and help?" We'll work with a homeless shelter, and they'll say, "Hey, we haven't had any volunteers for a year, and our playground is a mess. Can you come in?" So we'll come in and clean. So it's very dependent on what they need, not what we want.
I would imagine that would be very rewarding. And how did you stumble upon this as an idea or a crusade, so to say?
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely a unique way of spending your vacation time and your time away. But as a family, we've always done it. It's sort of been in our DNA. Something we've always done. We're both Christians, and as a family, we're Christians, and so we feel an innate desire. But then ultimately, we've really found joy in serving. So we've served on cruise ships when cruise ships were more prevalent. We've served on just visiting family, going on a trip, and as a family, we really found joy in it. And so when we were looking into the RV lifestyle and the RV thing, something we've never explored before we bought one. I don't think we stayed one night in an RV as a family before we bought one. One. That was like 2 nights in an RV before we bought one, just to make sure that there wasn't anything big that we were avoiding. And so when we got it, it was a very simple conversation. Like, cool, this is a gift. How are we going to use this gift to serve and encourage others to do the same?
I would imagine that it's very fulfilling to be involved in these kind of service projects, that you walk away feeling good and it sort of revives you in whatever the moment is. I mean, you can't feel bad when you're serving as a general rule.
This is true. It for any parents out there, it serves some very big purposes of with your kids on realizing the kind of realizing the life they have and realizing stuff. And so you have a lot. Your kids are complaining a lot less. I'm personally complaining a lot less. I think we have our challenges become very relative and not absolute. And so hearing these stories. And we've seen some real life change too, and that's ultimately what it's about. We've seen some people reach out to us afterwards and say, "Thank you so much, and you really made an impact today." And and you've really improved my life. And ultimately, we love the tourist traps around the country. There are some really fun things we've been able to do as well: pirate ships and manatees and beach days. But ultimately, what's lasting in our memories have been the service projects. The beach days kind of blend together, which I know sounds bad, but when we're serving, each interaction is unique. Each individual is unique, and sometimes it's just a conversation. But that might be the only conversation that child has with a supportive adult that week, that month, or even that year. And so we don't. However, people serve, we encourage it.
You folks still have a sticks and bricks home?
We do, yeah. So in Minnesota, we have a sticks and bricks, and so we're not there yet to sell it, although the incentive, given the market, has been high.
Hmm.
We do rent it out on Airbnb, um, which I would encourage everybody to do. We found some really great success with that. We're about 30-25 minutes away from a major city, away from the Twin Cities. So that certainly helps. But a lot of our renters have just been families with kids. We have a 4-bedroom home. And so instead of staying at a hotel and buying 2 rooms, they get a whole house. And so we've had some great success, some ups and downs. We kind of figured out, if you take all your personals and you don't care about them anymore, and you lock them away, then there's nothing to really worry about. And it's been a very beneficial tool of traveling, and we can serve more. The more people rent, the more we serve, and the more they're in our home, the more we can be outside of our home serving.
That's great. What attracted you to this lifestyle?
I think it really started for me. My grandparents passed away a couple years ago, but they RV'd for 25 years. I want to say they were retired for a very long time. And so they RV'd a ton, and I went on a couple of trips with them as a kid. And I just loved the pared down, the trimmed away part of this lifestyle. And it was always, as I think my generation thought, that this lifestyle was, when retirement happens,
Yes.
when, someday, when I don't need to be in the office, I can go be in. Right now, we're right outside of Atlanta, Pine Mountain, Georgia. Beautiful. Someday I'll be there when I don't have to be in an office. And then my when I started my agency, Share Marketing, I was like, I don't need an office. I'll hire all my staff remotely, and I've been working remotely all the time, and hire all these people remotely. So I'll just work from my desk. And then when the pandemic hit, and my wife's job went remote for a little bit, and then they had the promise of going back, and then the promise of going back, and then that promise came to, like, no, you can be fully remote. As soon as that moment happened, and my wife had an amazing boss at the time who said, go buy it. So it was kind of our Sunday turned into tomorrow,
Hmm.
almost overnight. Cause I remember hearing from my wife, and she goes, oh, we got to be back in school. We got to be back in the office as soon as school is out. So we were like, okay, well, there bus goes those plans. And then, due to the atmosphere and what was happening, they said, nope, you are now, TBD and probably never back in the office.
That's wonderful.
And I think literally the day we got that email, we went on to RV Trader, and my wife was looking at rigs. She's like, whoa, what are we doing? Like, I love my family, love my friends, love what we have here, love the home we built, but we're going to take advantage while the kind of iron is hot. Take the someday and turn it into tomorrow.
I'm surprised more people who work in cubicles or who are work from home are not working in RVs, to be honest.
I am shocked. I talk to people about it, and so I'll mention it on Zoom calls, or I'll mention it just kind of in passing. I feel like RV life is kind of like being a vegan. Like, you kind of have to talk about it. Like, it's one of those things where, like, it doesn't,
Right.
you don't feel like 5 minutes into a conversation you can't mention you live in an RV. It's a weird feeling.
Hmm.
That's a personal thought here. And I'll talk to people like, oh, that would be awesome, but the individuals who, like, don't need to be in the office, don't have another reason to be stuck in a home, I mean, it's a very difficult question of like, why are you still there? But I understand the uncertainty and the worry about RV life. I mean, it's not a, it's, we can paint a rosy picture, but there's still the black tank. There's still,
Mhm.
poor facilities at RV parks that advertise really nice ones.
Mhm.
So it's not all sunshines and rainbows, but on a good day, RV life beats any life in a home.
Well, your oldest would be in, I believe, second grade if they were looking at it that way
Yes.
in traditional way. But with road schooling, that really doesn't matter anymore because it's no longer the entire world is the classroom, right? I mean, you can turn
Quite.
any everyday experience into an educational learning experience for them. And so there might be some classroom involved because you have to learn the basics and things like that, but then it's an opportunity for them to get out and find what they enjoy and learn about what they find interesting.
Very, very much so. Yeah. So he is. We're currently enrolled in a online school system, just because me and my wife have never road schooled or homeschooled, and with us working full time, we felt that was a easy box to check of like let somebody take care of the reading, writing, and arithmetic, and so he doesn't fall behind initially. For our next when we continue on for next school year in the fall, we'll probably do just a traditional homeschool thing. But absolutely, I mean, last week we were in Savannah, Georgia, and if you're not familiar with that city's history, it is fantastic. It's where the Declaration of Independence was first read, in the Pink House there. And so my son got to sit on the steps of the Pink House, uh, and and imagine that first reading of the Declaration.
Hmm.
It was an old Confederate house and an old British house that was given to the Continental Army. And I think it was Thomas Jefferson was there, like drafting the Constitution. I mean, that's really cool to hear about that in a book, but to walk through the hallways and to sit on the steps is just a different experience. It just keeps it alive. And then we were at some fort during the Civil War, where they were shelling, and he was learning about rifling and armament and um, the Confederacy and the Northern Army. And his eyes were open. He was running to the next thing. And so that's a gift that he'll always remember. And whether we visit 100 more or 10 more, he loves each and every one. So he has a heart for history, and so to actually let him touch and feel and smell, it brings it alive.
I do have to ask how you manage two different jobs, working in an RV with a 2 year old, because it looks like, that old card game that they used to have on TV where the whammy would show up and just take everything, require all of your attention and all that kind of stuff when in the middle of a project. How do you do that?
Um, a lot of prayer. We Prior to about 3 weeks ago, we would arrange daycares in the cities that we were in. So we would, find a certified and an approved daycare, usually a part of a network that we found. And we'd call them up and say, hey, do you have drop ins? And 95% of them would say, sounds good, drop them in. We'll take them for a week. And so we paid that fee up until about 3 weeks ago. We had a nanny who we booked at an RV spot completely abandon us. She called us 5 minutes before she was supposed to be there and said, "Sorry, I'm going to Disney with my family."
Oh my.
So, yeah, so it was sort of the necessity is the mother of innovation,
Hmm.
and so we realized we're like, okay, let's see what we could do. And so we found some really cool educational television. We found some really cool educational apps. Me and my wife are constantly working on our communication, and so we were able to communicate of like, cool, when do you want to take him? What meetings do you have? And in the working world, there are times where you have to be, actively on, like in a meeting, and times you have to be passively on. And so
Hmm.
we worked on our schedules and moved some meetings around of like, okay, cool, I'll do my my check-in with this client on this time, and I'll not arrange a meeting during this time and block my calendar. And so that gave us a little more flexibility. And sometimes, like right now, she's on a meeting. I'm talking with you, and my son is in his room watching something on TV. But usually around afternoon, around 1 o'clock, both boys are kind of done with school, and then that time we'll take some time. I'll go take them for a walk. We'll go to the park. We'll go visit a historical thing, and so we gauge that. And then once the boys are in bed, I'll usually jump back into it after they're in bed to finish up the day. So that's the way where we're kind of using technology to bridge the gap, and then adjusting our work life schedule.
What are some of the favorite places you visited so far?
Favorite places. I grew up in Montana, so going back to Bozeman, Montana, and if anybody's watched the Yellowstone, it's as beautiful as in that show. And so it is still the Old West. It is fantastic. You'll still see cowboys walking in places. The mountains, if you've never been around actual Rocky Mountains, absolutely beautiful. I really loved Fort Myers. It was very tropical, beautiful, calm waters. We went to Sanibel. That was gorgeous. In Auburndale, there's this resort called the Camp Margaritaville. Not an ad. We're not sponsored by them by any means, but they attract a lot of full-time families, a lot of families like us, not weekenders, which all good, not people that are on for a week, but full-time families. And so my son and families, and they were probably from 3 o'clock in the afternoon until 10 o'clock at night playing and having fun. And to anybody with kids, to know that you can trust where you're at, and have them play for 7 hours. It was just we barely left the resort. I don't think there's a lot to do in Auburndale anyway, but it was kind of, we were in the middle of nowhere and kind of on an island. So that was really fun. And then Savannah, we were only there for a week, and we could be there for a month and not soak it all in. So
that's neat. Now you're going to maintain your sticks and bricks because that's where a lot of family is?
Yeah. So my wife's grew up in Minnesota. And so we're going to maintain it. We'll head back here in about a month and a half to just kind of regroup. We need to do some adjustments, I guess, some upgrades to the RV. Take out a couch, put in a bench, do some little things that require a little more manpower and drills and saws and such. And then we've booked it out on Airbnb for a majority of the summer at this point. So after July 4th, we'll be on the road again. So then the rest of the summer it's booked out, so we can't be there. And so we'll maintain it until at a point where it becomes more, until it becomes either too expensive to maintain it and we're not booking it out enough, or the cost and the real estate cost becomes too exorbitant that I can't say no.
Yes, I hear you.
Very honestly.
Have you faced any challenges on the road?
Yeah. Our first trip, we had one. The biggest challenge we faced. We were going into some BLM land, and we went over this little curve, and the rig and the RV. So I pull with the diesel truck, 6-cylinder diesel truck, and my travel trailer. So we went over this little lip, and the travel trailer just stopped dead in the tracks. And I'm blocking traffic. There's a whole bunch of people trying to leave from a pub. I'm blocking traffic. And my wife's like, no, you can go. I'm like, am I stuck on anything? Is there a rock? You can't really see everything when you're in one of those guys. She's like, no, you're fine. Just give it some gas. So I'm thinking, I'm like, maybe my hitch is stuck or there's something just needing a little extra gas. So put some gas in it. And I got all the towing power in the world. Nothing happened. 2 bikers roll up and this guy goes, oh, I know what it is. So he drops on the ground, goes by the hitch, and goes, oh, it's your emergency brake cord, which at this point I knew what that was because I always hooked it up, but that was my only knowledge base of it. I didn't know what it did. We were learning so much. When you first buy an RV, it's like getting a knowledge with a fire hose. So he goes, oh, it's your emergency brake cord. I go, oh, okay. So he gets on the ground. This guy, never met him before, biker, and he's trying to find out where it goes because I have no idea, not a clue, an idea in the world. So he gets on the ground, he finds it, he finds the hole, he's kind of messing around, he puts it in, and because I was giving it a little gas prior to that,
Oh no.
it juts forward, a little momentum, on the tires or something, and my strut almost impaled this guy.
Oh
It
my.
was very close. And I was like, I don't know, please do not get under my thing again. Please stay away. So at that point, there was a pub nearby, so we had a couple cold ones. We were fine. We've had some mishaps with the black tank. Little not, the sensors are inherently bad and never work. We've cleaned them and done all the tricks and trade, and we have a couple-year-old rig we bought used, so the sensors have seen better days or no days at all. So we've had some issues with that, but you throw stuff away and wash it off. But yeah, it's been overall, I think besides the almost impaling this biker in the middle of Utah, it's been a pretty smooth trip. Tow days are just what you need to be cautious and be attentive. But if you can be fine with those days and make those days as relaxed as possible, the little hiccups won't get you.
Right. And that's a big challenge when you have kids and trying to hook up a rig because of the interruption. So you really have to have a good checklist or tie up the kids somewhere so that you can devote your full attention to making sure everything is hooked up the way it's supposed to be.
Yes. Get a really good checklist and then be religious, diligent at following it. It is very easy, we're almost 3 months of total time in the rig, and it's very easy, or 3.5 months actually. It's very easy to say, oh no, kids, you can come outside while we're hooking up. Oh no, kids, you can come outside when we're unhooking. But we did that once and almost forgot a major step because they're distracting you, because you're not walking through the list, because that number 6 on the checklist can be the difference between, a really easy day and or a really difficult day.
Exactly.
It is so once we figured that out, it's, and there'll be days we're like, oh, it'll be fine. And then we look at each other, we're like, nope, get in the car, stay there. If you're married, communication is key. Of like, what am I doing? What are you doing? We keep our tasks, me and my wife, very separate. Of like, I handle most stuff outside the rig. She handles most stuff inside the rig. All the stuff inside the rig. And so it's not, oh wait, I thought you were doing that. That's probably the worst statement to say in an RV. I thought you were watching that tree when I ran into it. Nope, thought you were. So keep your checklists very simple and keep them separate. I always do ABC. She always does, XYZ. It's not, sometimes I'll do X, sometimes she does C. It's, nope, I do my ABC, you do XYZ. Even though it'd be easier and sometimes quicker for me to hop over her list, we're almost never doing that just because there's too much that can be forgotten.
With your business, Share Marketing, is that service that you can provide to other RV-based businesses?
Certainly, yeah. So I do digital marketing consultant. So my background is corporate America, chief marketing officer for several very successful online businesses and online companies. And so I consider myself a tool belt, not a hammer and nail. So assessing the online business, assessing what brings in revenue, assessing kind of the leading indicators of results. So if you're selling an online product, what's your click-through rate? What's your social media strategy looking like? Nowadays, everything that you're doing is a part of the marketing scope. And one thing, you could be amazing at social media, but your website doesn't convert.
Right.
Or you could have a huge email list, but there's no click-throughs on it. And so you hiring a specialist means that you've talked to a specialist that have told you need a very special skill. A lot of people will hire a Facebook marketer, and the Facebook marketer wants you to run Facebook ads because guess what? That's what they do.
Right.
That's all they do. They're going to convince you to run Facebook ads because every business works off Facebook ads. I see a lot of businesses that don't advertise on Facebook, even more so nowadays with the data restrictions. So I consider myself that I step in your role as your sort of ad hoc CMO, and say, if I was in this role, if my job was dependent on growing your sales, this is what I would do. Sometimes it's ad spend. Sometimes it's listings. Are you selling on the right platforms? Should you be selling on eBay instead of Amazon? There's a huge value benefit to the difference in those platforms. Are you integrated with Pinterest? Are you integrated here? And I will try to never recommend something that I wouldn't do for a business that I owned. And my greatest conversations are the ones where I'm like, you don't need me. Or people say, hey, like, thank you so much. You taught me so much about that. I'm going to go out on my own, and we'll meet every 3 months to see how my business is going and do the next step. So I'm very much education first, because I've dealt with clients and they've come to me and they're like, this guy told me that. I'm like, that's the numbers, and here's what the actual data says, and fully transparent in there. So if there's any online business or business based, mostly online, that's just my expertise. But realizing that, like, sometimes spending another ad dollar is just wasting more money quicker. Which I've seen, unfortunately, way too much. You're spending $4 to make 2.
Right.
You have no long-term strategy. You're going to lose money. So if I recommend you spend more, you're going to just lose more money quicker. You could do that. That's not how I like to do business. But a lot of the times, very specific consultants will only recommend the service that they do.
Right.
I was a chief marketing officer for many years, and I heard all the spiels, and you have to do the one thing that gets me paid. Really? How ironic. Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed that the one thing that you do, I have to do? And I don't approach that way. If I don't have the skill set to do it at the expert level, I'll recommend somebody. I've done that to clients. And I always offer free consultation on your digital marketing and your platform. Always, and forever will always offer that. And our team looks at your entire ecosystem, because that's what it is nowadays. It's not just your website. It's your online listings. It's where you're selling. It's your landing pages. It's your promise of delivery. I've had customers be like, oh my gosh, I have a ton of people online and everyone's going to my website, but no one's buying. And I was like, you don't have a return policy. They're like, oh, that one thing caused them to increase their sales instantly. They're like, oh, okay. Gotcha. And then 1% of their audience used the return policy, which more than made up for it on the other side. So stuff like that allows them to, sometimes they'll just free consultation, look at it and say, oh, thank you, another eyes, and move forward. So
that's great. If people wanted to connect with you, Joe, how would they be able to do that?
You can reach out on LinkedIn, Joe Meyers. You can email me, joe@sharemarketing.agency. Find me on Facebook, Joe Meyers as well, or on Twitter @Joe Meyers.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for talking to us today. This has been very informative. It's neat to see that you guys are involved in so many service projects and that you're bringing up your kids to learn to love to serve. And I wish you the best of luck as you go forward.
Thank you so much.
I'd like to thank Joe Meyers for sharing his story with us today. It's refreshing to see a younger family embracing the RV lifestyle, not only to benefit their own family, but to serve others as well. Joe proves that it's possible to build a business and a lifestyle that is time and location independent, and that they can travel when they want and where they want while performing a traditional job or running a business on the road. That can be challenging with a 2-year-old demanding a lot of attention. Many times they can arrange work schedules so that Joe or his wife can watch the kids while the other takes care of pressing work tasks. However, the family also discovered they could tap into a network of daycare providers in just about every area they visit to keep the kids busy for a few hours while mom and dad work. The Meyers family have already enjoyed some fabulous experiences, such as visiting Savannah, Georgia, and touring some historical sites, which really seems to intrigue their oldest son. The most interesting aspect of Joe's company is his ability to help other RV-based businesses with their digital marketing needs. Before starting his company, Joe worked as Chief Marketing Officer for several corporations and online businesses. Consequently, he's aware of the plethora of marketing options available to businesses today. Because each business has different needs, it's impossible to adopt a one-size-fits-all approach like it was before the internet changed everything and created many more options. Joe and his company help businesses better invest their time and marketing dollars into getting a bigger return on the investment. He helps them develop an entire digital ecosystem to promote his clients' firms and build awareness of the products and services they sell. To learn more about Joe's business, Share Marketing, visit www.sharemarketing.agency. To follow the Meyers family's adventures and various service projects they're involved in, look for worldshare.family on Instagram. Today's episode is sponsored by Workamper News. With its Diamond and Platinum membership tools, Workamper News is much more than just a job listing website. When you put the tools of this professional service into action, you'll find out just how easy it can be to turn your work camping dreams into reality. The one-year memberships open the door to a one-stop shop for all things work camping. Being the original resource for work camping, you'll find the largest number of job listings, be able to connect with a community of work campers, and view resources compiled by experts who've been enjoying the RV lifestyle for many years. If you're serious about leading a successful and enjoyable work camping lifestyle, then a Diamond or Platinum membership is for you. You can even get started with a free 30-day trial by visiting www.workamper.com/trial. Embark on new adventures today with the support of Workamper News behind you. That's all I have for this week's show. Next time I'll be speaking with another young family with twin 8-year-old boys who developed an online channel providing do-it-yourself project help, gear reviews, and tips for the RV lifestyle. I'll have that interview on the next episode of The Workamper Show. Thanks for listening.